cheap car wash soap. And we just fill the whole entire thing up, 32 ounces of straight soap. You see how much thicker? Everyone is obsessed with foam, and I get tons of comments of like, how do you get more foam? What pressure washer do I need to get more foam? What size orifice do I need to get more foam? Blah, 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 blah. And so I did have this idea though, is that we take a foam cannon and we put a couple ounces of soap in it and then we fill the rest with water, right? But then when we attach our pressure washer to it, we're shooting more water through, right? So I thought, man, what is just a simple, easy way to get maximum foam? And I thought, I've never tried it, I'm just gonna pick up a really cheap car wash soap. This half gallon was, I think, $8 or $10. Maybe it's cheaper on Amazon, I don't know, but it's really cheap, right? And I thought, what if we just take this with a dry foam cannon and we just fill the whole entire thing up with soap? Yeah, I know, it's a lot of soap. This is a big foam cannon. So this is gonna be 32 ounces of soap, but it's straight soap, okay? Very soapy. What if you just filled the whole thing up with soap? Would you be able to get super thick foam by doing this? And could we use less soap in the bottle? Can we turn the foam cannon all the way down and still get shaving cream-like foam? I don't know. Let's try it out. So this is the MJJC version 3. This is one of my favorite foam cannons right now, but it is about $90. And so another thing I want to test too is, can we just take the Amazon Basics? I think this one's like, it ranges between 13 and 20 bucks. Very basic foam cannon. Can we do the same thing? So I'm gonna fill the rest of this up with, or fill this whole foam cannon up with the same soap as well. And we will see if the cheap foam cannon produces the same amount of suds as the more expensive foam cannon. And as you can see, that works out perfect. They're both about 32 ounces. Used all the soap. Let's see. I know the orifices are cheap. I know they're easy to switch out, but if you just want more foam and you just want a cheap way to do it, I think this could be a relatively good way to do it. And to be honest, pH neutral soaps are pretty much all the same. So you might as well use the cheapest soap possible if you're gonna go pH neutral. So let's hook it up and see how it goes. The greatest collaboration in the history of the detailing industry continues with the addition of Jimbo's All Dressed Up over on Amazon. Of course, we have Tough as Shell, and coming soon, the Pure Magic Cleaner. I will make sure to link everything below, but for those of you that enjoy free Prime shipping, you can now get most of the Jimbo's line on Amazon. All right, so we'll do the MJJC V3 first. And I have it turned all the way down, so it's sucking the least amount of soap as possible. And that's clearly not gonna work all the way turned down. So let's start turning it up. So if we're all the way up, this will be all the way up. Let's go like halfway up. How about that? Wow. So halfway up is probably going to be the sweet spot. I probably used about an ounce of soap, and I would argue you could do, you know, this is a relatively smaller car, but I think that is pretty adequate foam coverage. It's super thick, dropping off in just huge puddles. So if you use 2 ounces, you're essentially using 2 ounces of soap, right? Which arguably could be about the same amount of soap that you would put in the foam cannon anyway, right? So again, that's kind of, I'm hoping that makes sense. What I'm trying to figure out is, could you use about the same amount or right about the same amount of soap, just using the soap in a different way to actually produce more foam without having to change out the orifice, without having to get a fancy pressure washer, without having to get a fancy foam cannon? Can you do that? That's kind of what we're trying to figure out. So let's jump over to the other side, and we'll use the cheap foam cannon. And again, we'll start it the same way. So even though we had poor results all the way turned down, you never know. Try it with the cheap foam cannon. The broken cheap foam cannon. So again, yeah, all the way down. That's what you're gonna get. Go all the way and then halfway back. Jeez, hold on, I need to measure how many twists that is, I guess. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll go back 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're halfway. Very scientific measuring there. And it's not really working halfway, so let's 1, 2, let's just go all the way up. Whoa. And that works all the way up. So interestingly enough, you're actually getting runnier foam with the cheaper foam cannon than the MJJC, but kind of same thing is happening. You're using maybe an ounce or two, you know, to cover this side of the car. Again, you're probably at about 2 ounces of soap in total. The cheaper foam cannon is going to give you a lot more of the runnier foam, but it's still really thick on the surface. If I hop back over, I'm going to plug on the MJJC again, just to show you how much thicker. And this was only halfway down. So again, here's another video inside a video. The MJJC, or the more expensive foam cannon, is going to give you better, thicker foam than the cheap foam cannon, though at the end of the day they do the same thing. But this was only halfway down. Let's turn this one all the way up. So we're really going to be sucking some soap, but you see how much thicker? So the MJJC is just giving you super thick suds, whereas the, you know, Amazon Basics foam cannon is just more of a runnier foam, which isn't always bad. Sometimes I like a runnier foam. So if you have it all the way turned up, you're really going to be sucking some soap. But I don't really think it's necessary. But even if you did and you wanted just an ungodly amount of foam inside the car, you could probably get away with using about half the foam cannon, which would be about 8 ounces of soap, which would be, or I'm sorry, 16 ounces of soap, which would make it, you would use a lot of soap. But can you smell it? It smells delicious out here. I got a ton of foam. What's not to love? And I love just, you know, putting a lot of these ideas that we've taken for granted and detailing, like, oh no, we have to dilute the soap in the foam cannon, you know, for that, and then let's overcomplicate it by changing out orifices and doing this and doing that, when really it's like, just add more soap. If you just want more foam, add more soap to the foam cannon and dial it down a little bit. Maybe invest in a better foam cannon, dial it down so you use less soap. But I really think you could get away with using, at least with this deep crystal car wash, it smells really good too, you could get away with using maybe 2 ounces of soap and get really nice thick foam on your whole entire car. So that was a fun experiment. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Have you ever tried just filling up your foam cannon with straight soap? Have you ever tried it? Love to know in the comments below. And with that, I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.